What's going on, everybody? Back in the tortoise shed with my Aldabra sulcatas. I got yellowfoots down here, and I have a few Libyans I brought over right here into this exact area because I'm going to be doing something that I don't normally do, but these tortoises are really nibbling at greens, not really eating that well. They seem to sleep a lot. So I'm just going to try and kickstart the metabolism. I'm going to first force feed them with some Missouri, and then later come along and add some probiotics. And I'm going to show you just how to do that. It's very easy. This tortoise does look healthy. Otherwise, it does have some weight. It's hydrated. Its eyes are open. This one's got a little gunkiness in it, but it is a somewhat healthy tortoise. I feel like it's fat. There's no signs of anything respiratory wise. But just to make sure and to take precaution, I'm going to give it some Missouri. Now, Missouri is pretty easily available online. These syringes you can get just on Amazon, and you can look up force feeding tubes. And then what you can do is you can cut the tip, because this tip was a little bit smaller. You can cut it to a thicker opening, so you can actually, but you want to also have a little bit of room there to get it down in its esophagus. So, but you want it to, so the Missouri, you want it thick enough and wide enough so the Missouri can slide through, because Missouri can be a little thick as well, not really liquidy as much, but it's one of the best and probably healthiest things I would think for this tortoise at this point in time. Adult female, guys, a very cool tortoise. I have been doing this. I did this a couple days ago, and the tortoise already looks a little bit better. So in order for this to happen, you have to take a tortoise, you have to tilt it so the head kind of comes out. If I don't get run over by a sulcata under here, see this? This is just, you can't do anything in here. You get run over. So you tilt it, you pull the head out, right? And then you just take your finger and drop that bottom jaw like so. You tilt it back and you extend the neck. You can push that all the way down in there. And some of it came out a little bit, but probably half of it got down in there, and that's gonna happen. Oh, it's coming out. And what I do is I just go around. There's 4 of them that are getting treated this way. This one's got its eyes closed, but got the same weight as that one. And it will open the eyes once you soak it. So, same thing, pull it out, pop the bottom jaw, and squeeze some Missouri down in there. None of that really came out, which is pretty good. You give her a second to swallow, put her down, and go on to the next one. Eyes just opened on that tortoise, which is good. Just trying to take it down. Hopefully it doesn't spit it out, which in most cases it doesn't. Here's another one right here. Smaller female, eyes are open. And this is pretty easy to do. You can kind of do the same thing with Panicer when you treat them for deworming. Now, I got to tell you guys, when you use Panicer, you do it 2 to 3 times in the course of like 2 to 3 weeks apart to deworm these. And then you have to come along after usually 3 treatments and give them probiotics, which is what I have right here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You can't really overdose on probiotics, guys. If you do, they might get a little gassy or have some diarrhea, but other than that, you need to jumpstart their gut, okay? So a lot of people will treat their tortoises and give them a dewormer, and it'll kill all the gut, the good gut bacteria and everything, and kind of, prevent some digestive issues, and slowly over time it can die. With this tortoise, I just gave it a shot of some Missouri. Here's the weaker one. This is a young male. Eyes are open. Males are typically smaller in Libyans. I'm going to do the same thing here, bottom jaw. And try and keep it away from its trachea if I can get it past there, which is its breathing tube. And put it back down. Now I'll circle back to the first one, which has had time to swallow. And I'll come back again and I'll drop the bottom jaw. Now watch, you shouldn't see any more food in there. Okay, mouth is empty, no food. Put some more in there. Okay, and that's kind of how I do it, guys. I go around the horn, Now you might just have one tortoise. If you just have one tortoise or turtle that you're force feeding, which you can do this with a Missouri turtle diet as well. But again, you have to make sure that you get a stem long enough based on the animal. Some of the turtles can also be a little aggressive and bite. Tortoises seem to be more chill, laid back, not as much of an issue. I did that one first. I did this one second. Oh, I gotta put more in there. So take this out. I got my Missouri right here, and I just stuff it down. That one spit a little bit out, but it's okay as long as a good piece of it gets down into its stomach. All right, so I had to put some more into the syringe. Okay, I was back on this one. This is the second one. So I just go around typically 3 times, maybe 4, and then I give them a break. I don't want to stress them out too much, guys, because you do this like too many times, it can stress them out a little bit. But it's a good jump start, guys, to get their metabolism going. Wake them up, give them the nutrients they need. But they are a very cool species. I love the Libyan tortoises. And they're very difficult. You know, they come in and they're imported through Egypt. And they come out of Libya, they go into Egypt. Egypt exports them, and they're pretty cool tortoises. I'm just a little worried about them because they're so fragile when they come in as imports, and sometimes you got to battle with them to keep them going, which is why the deworming and the probiotics are so important. And sometimes in this situation, you have to force feed. Keep getting run over by the sulcatas. By the way, check these guys out over here. Watch, look at them mowing down the food. That's pretty much a whole case of endive. And that Aldabra is a machine. She's got to be 26 to 7 inches long at least. She's picking up some weight. These guys are hard. They get in your way a little bit and knock you down. Sometimes they rush you. We have one over here. This one I think might have eggs. And that one I think has eggs right there because they are pacing and not really eating. This one isn't really eating, that one's eating. So that's what they usually do. They'll pace around, and eventually they'll find their egg-laying box over there, and they'll dig a nest. All right, let's go over here, back to this guy again. So if you guys have any questions about, you know, doing this, feel free to let me know in the comments. But it's pretty easy. You want to be quick. You don't want to stress the tortoise out any more than it already is. And I usually let them sit. I won't soak them right away because if you soak them right after, it's usually good to soak them before. And then you can maybe soak them maybe a half hour later. Make sure that they swallow what's in their mouth because otherwise they'll spit it back up. So once we go through that and we go 4 times through, or 3 or 4 times through with all these, this is the probiotic right here. It's like in powder form. And I've done this with other tortoises, and it seems to work well. Back to tortoise number 1, this female. And I will tilt her back, open her head, and I will sprinkle some of this. It's kind of like what you do with the calcium. You can also mix it in with their food if they're eating. I'll just sprinkle that in there a little bit. Get some probiotics into its system. And then I'll go around and do the other 3. Today I only went around, I think, with the Missouri twice, but I might hit them again. But the probiotics are, like, again, guys, you can't really overdose with this. It's, at worst case, you have diarrhea, some gas, some bloating. But it's good to give them a little bit of this. There's only one real way to know that they're getting it, and that's by forcing it down their throat, by opening their mouth. Now, there are plenty of medications, guys, out there that you have to make sure you give them the proper dosage by weight. But certain ones, that was a little bit too much, but shot out. But certain ones, it's very difficult to overdose on. There's certain supplements and stuff like that. I mean, too much of anything can be bad if you are doing it too often, right? So if you give it, if a tortoise or a turtle is sick at some point and you want to kind of treat it and you want to give it a little bit more than you normally would, then a different story. But all right. That's good right there. So there it is, guys. Gave it some probiotics. Just a little bit of a sprinkle in there. You can do that a couple times a week if you see any weakness in your tortoises. Now, this probiotic is accessible at Tractor Supply. Okay, there are other places online you can order probiotic powder. But I've been using this for a while and it seems to be doing better. These tortoises have turned around as well as some other animals. So it's always good to do that. Add some calcium powder when you're feeding these tortoises. But I just wanted to show you guys a different way of how to take care of tortoises or turtles that aren't really thriving and eating well, and that's by force feeding. Just to, man, it flies in here. Whew. Just to get them like kick-started with, to get their metabolism going, you know. So that's it from here, and let me know, you guys, if you have any questions about force feeding or if you have any tortoises or turtles, feel free to let me know if you're dealing with any situations. I've been dealing with turtles and tortoises my entire life. I'm 44 years old, so probably 36, 37 years, and I probably have more hands-on experience than just about anybody as far as keeping, breeding, evaluating, treating tortoises, and know what they can and can't handle. And a lot of it came through experience as well as talking to several vets over the years. And it got to the point where I'm even having vets ask me questions for behavior on the animals, the temperaments, the stress, all that stuff. They're asking me what I see when, you know, there's these symptoms and that symptoms and how they react, how fast they bounce back. There's just so many questions you can ask in every situation. So if you have those questions, feel free to let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. My number one goal, guys, is to keep the animals on this earth as alive as long as possible. So if I can help you, that'd be great. I really want your animals to thrive. There's a lot of people out there that are just in this for business and stuff like that, and that's not me. I have another company that I live off of, and this is more of just a passion, a hobby. I try and create more of a rescue as well as a breeding environment and increasing populations of these amazing animals here at, you can call it Reptastic Park. But anyway, feel free again, like, subscribe, leave the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, as always, have a Reptastic day.